So I'm going to tell the story of my time in Senegal through 3 meals, and of course I'm going to answer that question that I know you're all here dying to hear the answer to. Is the birthplace of the jollof rice the place that does it the best? Or have Nigerians really taken the dish and elevated it to another level? So I've left Southern Africa, and this time I am a world away in West Africa. Now I say world away because the distance between the last place I visited in Africa, South Africa, and Senegal is pretty huge. Dakar, the capital of Senegal, is over 1,000 kilometers closer to Rio in Brazil than it is to Cape Town in South Africa. And you can fly from Dakar to London in 7 hours, whereas from Dakar to Cape Town will take about 12 hours. Almost double the time. We are talking huge distances, guys. And this time I don't have my 2 regular travel companions with me, Bobby and Michael. Instead, I'm actually leading a group of students from Asia over to visit a school for deaf and Down syndrome students in a village 2 hours south of Dakar. We raised money for infrastructure projects at the school, and thankfully we didn't go over and pretend that we can build any better than local contractors could. So this video is going to focus less on that aspect of the trip and more on the things that fascinate me the most when I travel: food and culture. Actually, it seems the airline got the assignment, and even before I touched down in Senegal itself, I was presented with a meal of jollof rice. And you know what, honestly, it's actually really good. It's got the smoky jollof rice flavour. I can't believe this. How did Emirates do it? The jollof rice is pretty good, but this was not the meal to base such an important answer on. On our arrival to the village, we received a warm Senegalese welcome. The next day, we took a tour around the village. As somebody largely benefits from the globalized economy, it was eye-opening to see the devastation that the large fishing trawlers from Asia were having on the smaller fishermen and fishing villages that had existed here for years and years. Then back for my first proper Senegalese meal, the chicken yassa.
Okay, so we've been here a little over 24 hours and I'm having, let's say, my first proper Senegalese meal. Short-grain rice with yassa chicken, and I think it's basically Senegalese fried chicken. It's spiced and then fried up, and then we've got a caramelized onion and olive sauce. Oh yeah, I must not forget to mention the hibiscus mixed drink I've got here. Bissap juice. Okay, let's get in. But it's funny that somehow short grain does actually taste different to other rices I've had. I really like the flavour. Right, with some of this onion sauce. So yeah, look at this. There's saffron inside the rice. Oh wow. Okay. This is so tasty. I guess the first thing is the browning from being fried. Adds lots of flavour. It's really delicious. Now, if I can get hold of some of these spices, I will have to take this back and attempt to do something similar in the kitchen. Okay, I'm going to finish my meal and sign off. See you guys later.
Probably the most moving part of this trip was the trip to Gorée Island. Now, Gorée Island is close to Dakar, just off the coast of Senegal. It used to be a slave trade post in the past, but now it's a place that stands as a sanctuary for remembrance and reconciliation.
So this morning was super interesting. We went to visit a small island off the coast, and actually the history of that place was that it was used to hold a lot of the slaves before they were shipped off to the Americas and the Caribbeans. And we got to see a particular house where a lot of those slaves would be held. It was really interesting for me, particularly because actually our guide was mentioning that a lot of the slaves taken from Nigeria were from the Yoruba tribe, which is actually the tribe my family's from. And they would often be bred with other slaves. It was quite strange carrying more of their history that I know a lot of already. I didn't know so much about that detail. And now we've come to this area, which is a pink salt lake. Apparently it's only one of 2 or 3 salt lakes, pink salt lakes in the world. And now we're at a restaurant here, and I'm about to tuck into this meal of shrimp in a light sauce and some saffron rice. I'm gonna start off with the rice. Actually, just the rice alone is super delicious. I could have just a plate of that. It's so good. I've got a cat next to me meowing for some of my shrimp. I don't think anyone will notice. I'll chop in one. The shrimp is good. It's a very light sauce, and it's got some parsley. It's not over spiced, not too much in the way of flavoring. A little garlic I can taste in there. Tender. And it's so good that the cat meowing next to me wants more. But I don't think I'm going to give him any. Okay, just one more, and that's it. Just the one. I have to say, so far I'm finding actually Senegalese food quite simple. It's not over elaborate. Even though actually a lot of dishes might borrow from the French as well. They keep it very simple, but it's so tasty. Fantastic.
Now, in comparison to my trip in the southern African countries, Senegal did feel much more familiar, from the way that people look and dress to, of course, the food. And which food could be more familiar than the rice dish called jollof rice in Nigeria or Ceebu in Senegal?
I cannot believe this moment is here. In the words of Rihanna, "Baby, this is what you came for." I am sat here with a plate of the granddaddies of the jollof rice. If you've been watching my channel for any time, there's a massive competition between Ghanaians and Nigerians as to who makes the best jollof rice. But from all my research, from what I know, actually jollof rice originates from Senegal, and the local name is Ceebu. So I really want to finally be able to answer the question, is the original the best, or are Nigerians taking this dish and elevated it to another level? And I have to say, I'm very nervous about answering this question. This is really damn good. Some similarities to what I know from the Nigerian jollof rice. The smoky flavor comes through really well in this. Tomato flavors underneath. I'm not sure they've got some other herbs and spices they use, and obviously it's a lot browner. So it's got a depth of flavor. But here's my final judgment. I would say that some of the best Nigerian party jollof rice I've had would still top this dish. But look, this is the first time I'm having this in Senegal. I may go around it with 10 more times, and actually the best versions of it in Senegal may well be the best Nigerian versions. But I've grown up all my life eating jollof rice, so I guess it's a bit of an unfair comparison, and it is obviously biased being I am Nigerian. But again, I do maintain this version is very, very, very good. I am such a happy boy right now. This is amazing. And what a treat for the final day in Senegal. Okay, woo, boy, is it sweltering here in Senegal. We've got a little over 24 hours left to go, so I thought this would be a good chance to just reflect on my time here. And it's been awesome. One of the first things is comparing with my travel in the southern African countries, so Zimbabwe, Botswana, that first trip. Senegal feels much more familiar, and I guess that makes sense because my own family culture is Nigerian culture, and that is also West Africa. So many things like the food, the clothing, actually just how the people are, it seems familiar. And the second difference between why I'm traveling here in Senegal, my first trip was mainly leisure and tourism in the Southern African area. In contrast to here, it's a purposeful service. I came with a group of young people because we're supporting a school out here. So in that sense, it was a very different trip. And I have been conflicted in some senses with how much I show on the channel of what we're doing, because again, I really didn't want to give the impression that, yes, Senegal is a really poor country. They don't have proper schools. It takes people from the outside to have to come in, give them the schools. I didn't want to give that impression. But so what has particularly impressed me about the organization is that they are working with groups of children who would not have been able to go to school otherwise. So particularly the deaf students and the Down syndrome students. So they really are providing something that is a need here. And, it's really giving a future to these students. So from that sense, it has been such a great trip and so different to my trip before.